All right, so we have Star Wars The Acolyte episode 4. This is the shortest episode of the season so far. Kind of lame. Like they have the gall to have a cliffhanger and it's like, "Brother, you just stopped the episode. You just stopped in the middle of the episode. It's not even a cliffhanger. It's not long enough for you to consider that a cliffhanger. You just like if next week's episode is like 30 minutes as well, they will like literally what happened here was they made an episode and they just chopped it in half. Kind of annoying. Um but I it's consistent with Disney Plus. For whatever reason, they just don't have like proper length episodes. Like it was actually like I watched House of the Dragon the other night. It's like proper like 50-minute long episode, I think. It felt meaty. You know what I mean? Because I by the way, I do think that that is also probably something that leads to these Disney Plus shows feeling a bit underbaked at times. I do think that the length of the episodes probably accounts for maybe some stuff not being as fleshed out as it maybe should be. But then again, I mean, there are other like examples of shows that have shorter length episodes that don't necessarily feel as bad. I mean, obviously Andor was able to work wonders with what it had. So, there's not necessarily an excuse for anything, but just an interesting thing to point out. This episode felt especially short. Um, the other thing about this episode that I noticed was this felt like the most inconsistent episode when it came to the production value of the show, because it's weird. Like I know that it's not shot on the volume, and you can definitely see it in certain shots where there are some shots of like mountains that look really pretty, where it's like, oh, it looks like they went out on location and shot footage. But then there are other shots where it's like, okay, that looks very green screen. um, but then there are other scenes where it's like, oh yeah, look, they built a set here and it looks really nice. But I don't know, like, and again, I am comparing it to House of the Dragon a bit, but like when you watch House of the Dragon, it just feels a bit more vast and it feels more grand in scope. There definitely is a feeling of this show that it feels like TV. It feels like Star Wars on TV. So, it's not something that is ultimately like a deal breaker for me or anything, but it is something that I notice, and it's like, yeah, like it's just like consistently like, yep, I'm watching a TV show. And I felt and this episode it just felt even more jarring because there were some shots where it's like, oh look, they're they're out shooting on location, but then it would like immediately be followed by like, oh, that doesn't look great. So that is interesting. But as far as the episode itself, we got some interesting stuff with May and Ezra Miller, right? May is kind of like, hey, look, the source of my trauma, losing my sister. It seems like there's a route to repairing that. Perhaps I don't need to kill the Jedi anymore out of anger. She has like a pretty, like at first I saw that character turn and I was like, huh, it's a little sudden, I feel like. But then I think about it a bit more and it's like, yeah, I mean, if she has the potential to reunite with her sister, I mean, I could see her being like, or losing that vengeance that was like driving her to actually try and kill the Jedi. Like I could see, I could see, I buy it. I don't necessarily have too much of an issue with it. When I really sat down and thought about it. Um, Also, I mean, Jesus Christ, if I had to fucking, if all I had left was Ezra Miller and some fucking weird Jedi or Sith guy that I don't even know the name of, I mean, I'd turn to the dark side too. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, then when you go into Osha's sort of point of view, we don't get too much of necessarily like character development with her in this episode. She's kind of remains static throughout the whole thing. I guess there is some interesting stuff with her feeling, I guess, maybe a bit insecure about being around the Jedi because she does have that conversation with the girl from Logan where she's like, when I was a kid, I still had like attachments to my family, and that kept me from being a good Jedi. Which is just another reminder of how weird that rule is that the Jedi have, where it's like, you can't love your family. Yeah, you can't be attached to your loved ones or whatever. It's like, huh, it's kind of weird. But yeah, that is I guess she does have that, and like there was that moment where Soul was like, "Hey, I need your help," and Osha was like, "Oh, you want me to join the Jedi?" It kind of seemed like she wanted him to ask her, and he was like, "Calm down there. I don't actually want you to join the Jedi. I just need you to as bait to get May." She kind of had that look of disappointment on her, so she is sort of developing, I guess, some kind of like insecurity within her. So I mean that is something that they did with her in this episode. But yeah, I mean then yeah, but again, there's just like not that much happens. Then they just go out into the woods, and then the Sith guy shows up, and he's like, "I'm here. I'm the Sith. I already killed the not Chewbacca. I am Darth Vader at home. You know, we have Darth Vader at home." And then the episode ends, and it's like cringe. It's not deserved. You didn't earn a cliffhanger. But yeah, I'm gonna pose a theory, right? Because people are saying, right, or sorry, as I understand it, one of the potential lore breaking aspects of the series is of course the rule of two, which as I understand it sort of states that there can only be like two Sith operating at one time, right? There can be like a Sith master and a Sith apprentice, and that like they're the only ones that should be around, right? So there's that rule, right? And so I have a question / theory to pose to the Star Wars nerds. What exactly is the deal with the Inquisitors? Because seems like there can be other Sith, but they're just like, they're just not actually Sith, you know? They're Inquisitors. It's like, how the fuck are there Sith? What if this guy is just, what if they're just like, hey, you know this we have Darth Vader at home guy? Technically not a Sith. Could they do that? And would that technically not be lore breaking if Inquisitors aren't lore breaking? That's a theory / question / thought that I'm putting out there. Because, right, I guess it would be the case that, what's the guy's name? Darth Bane? I think at this time it would be like Darth Bane and Palpatine, right? Darth Bane would be the master. Palpatine would be the Sith apprentice. Could this just be some other random guy that technically isn't a Sith in the way that Inquisitors are technically not Sith? I don't know. Question. Wait, fuck. Okay, I did some Googling. It's Darth Plagueis, right? Who was who would have been the master at the time. And Palpatine and Darth Sidious are the same person. I think, right? Please, for the love of God, correct me in the comments. But yeah, is that like a valid theory that the Darth Vader at home guy that shows up at the end, could he just be like a random guy that just it's not a Sith, the same way that Inquisitors aren't Sith? Rule of two, unbroken. Is that possible? I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed like watching the episode. I thought it was fine, much like I thought that the first 3 episodes were fine. I thought they were enjoyable. I just think that the length is silly nonsense, Disney bullshit, and cringe, and I don't like it, and it kind of ruins the mood. You know what I mean? But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Want to hear your thoughts, whether they be positive or extremely angry. I value all feedback or whatever. Yeah, let me know. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.